and that's the best artificial intelligence in video games? Yeah, sure. I first played this game when it was given away by Epic Games, and since then I've played it maybe 5 or 4 times, the last time being now that the Alien Romulus movie was released. After finishing it again, I have some things I would like to share with you. Today, my experience with Alien Isolation. This game was released in 2014, so I assume you already know the story of the game. If not, I'm not going to ruin the experience for you either, but I highly recommend you to play it. I find the story of the game to be very well structured, with relevant and not so relevant characters appearing at the right time to die for the right reasons. Being a horror and single player game, it couldn't be otherwise. However, the game has good narrative plots to make it so, and throughout the game there are unique moments and scenarios that make you take a little break from being locked in a spaceship. Without going into details, the story also has its meaning and connection to the movies, and this is a detail that is appreciated as well. If we talk about the technical section, the graphics are the first thing I must highlight. Despite the time, this game looks amazing, and every time I play it I wonder why many other games couldn't do something similar. The details in the scenarios like corridors, rooms, windows, or details like the fog and the different levels of lighting and color tones make this game look beautiful, and denotes a lot the style of the Alien saga and some classic space horror stories. The sounds, on the other hand, are not only excellent but a fundamental part of the game itself, especially with the alien. Listening to it through the ventilation ducts as it exits or enters is vital to your survival. His heavy footsteps let you know his position, direction and speed, but they are also heavy and strong enough to get on your nerves with every step. All this first section, it is perfect. But now, let's get to the most important part, the gameplay and its mechanics. The arsenal really surprises with the amount of weapons and grenades you have at your disposal, and yet you will never feel powerful or out of danger. This is partly because you know that the ammunition and resources are scarce, so you have to manage them. Another thing that limits you is that all the enemies are really dangerous. The alien is an instant kill, the androids are very tough, and the humans really miss a shot. I have to stop here and mention that while there is resource management, if you know the game well, you will find that you are not that limited in bullets and resources. I don't know if it's just me, but whenever I play Alien, I ended up managing my stuff so that almost by the end of the game, I have my inventory and flamethrower fully stocked. I already mentioned that the visuals and the ship itself looks great, but the map designs is obviously to make you suffer more, and while it succeeds, that doesn't detract from the fact that after a few hours of play, the fear and tension becomes frustration and annoyance, for being the cliché and overused resource of forcing you to make the longest route and force you to look for things like codes, keys or turn on generators over and over again. These are things that are not always argued and you know it's just to make you suffer. Likewise, if you know you have to look in 2 different rooms, the answer is clearly in the farthest room. The save system also helps a lot to create a sense of worry. Being mostly manual, if you die before reaching the next save, you will lose all your progress without saving, and maybe that means from 5 to 15 minutes depending on how you play. If we talk about the movement, I like the fact the camera has a kind of motion smoothing. I just find it nice. Running is an option that allows you to get out of a risky situation that is already present, such as when you are already being shot at, when an android has already spotted you, or when you know that the alien is coming and you need to hide as quickly as possible. Outside of these situations, running is only useful when you know the alien is not stalking you, and in areas where there are no enemies. Run for about 3 or 4 seconds and it will cost you the play, or about 5 minutes hiding until it goes away, which is something annoying and desperate. Walking is the fastest and safest way to move forward, but you always have to do it while staying out of sight of enemies. While crouching is definitely the safest way to advance, it is also the most desperate one. Just be aware of your surroundings and the situation and you'll be fine. While the game is basically based on stealth, distractions are the best complement you will have to survive. Use all types of grenades you have either to distract or directly to eliminate your opponents. Never abuse or rely too much on these devices and you will be fine. Nice. I think one of the best situations to use any grenade is when there are large amounts of humans, so both they and the alien will go to that place and then I'm sure that together they will start a good friendship. The scanner is another good addition that will save your life on many occasions. In my first place, I almost always had the scanner in my hands because I trusted it more than what I could see in front of me. As you play, you will find that all you need to do is activate it to a 360 and quickly analyze your surroundings. Abusing this tool will only create more unnecessary fear and waste your time. If you made it to this part of the video, congratulations! Now we will talk about the most controversial and interesting points for me, the hideouts and the aliens AI. First, I want to make some things clear. The system of dual AI in the game is really admirable and very ingenious, but it is also true that as a player there are things that neither notice nor understand. It is true that every play of Alien Isolation is unique and challenging in its own way, but this is due to the little freedom of action of the alien and other enemies, making their behavior random, being this randomness what gives the feeling of a unique game. However, there are some things that I think are misinterpreted as intelligent, when in reality they are rather programmed. Things like the different reactions of the alien to the flamethrower, for example. That while it is true that we must thank and appreciate the effort of the developers to put several animations and program different behaviors, from a programming point of view, it is not so complicated to see it as, at the first attack, unlock the first behavior, run away. After overcoming X numbers of attacks, unlock the second behavior, show the fear animation. After overcoming Y number of attacks, unlock the third behavior, attack the player aggressively. Again, all these animations and behaviors make the game feel alive and give a very good experience, but that doesn't mean that the AI actually understands anything and makes decisions based on it. Therefore, and especially in this example, it's not smart. Like this example, there are many other actions and behaviors that are clearly programmed and not intelligent AI decisions, made after it has learned something. Still, it is a fact that the alien adapts to how you play in the game. If you hide too much, it will start looking more in the hiding places, and if you abuse the vents, it will start hunting you in them as well. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about the alien's intelligence and hiding places. You are in this room, you must hide, and you have as options a stretcher, a desk, a locker, and whatever this is. What do you choose? Quick, only 5 seconds. Well, if you chose the stretcher, it's practically a fact that you're dead. It is true that the best hiding places are those like stretchers or desks that allow you to be chest down, but they must have an exit at both ends. In this case, you can get out of there on the other side, and there aren't many places to look, so you are on your own. And if the alien peeks out from underneath, you're dead. I did this test 3 times, and in all 3 the alien ended up peeking out from under that spot, so while in other places it's a good hiding place, here is not. On the other hand, if you choose either of 2 lockers, let me tell you that your survival probability goes up more, but it will largely depend on how you have played up to that point. If you have abused these places, it is very likely that you will die. If not, congratulations, you have increased your survival rate. My problem with the lockers is that if they find you, you are vulnerable to attacks. And when it comes to the alien, it is instant death. The last option is the desk, a prone type hideout that allows you to move more freely around it. About this place, well, see for yourself. Okay, I'll be honest, it didn't work for me the first time. But in general, depending on how well you master this skill of circling around an object to stay out of the alien's line of sight, it can mean a 100% survival rate. I've made several attempts in different places during the production of this video and during my live playthrough. But in conclusion, if you've mastered this skill and the scenario allows it, it's the safest option. In any case, if something goes wrong, just make sure you have a good amount of health and use the flamethrower. That will give you a second chance. If that isn't an option, use the hiding places. As you have not used them that much before, you will have more chances to see the sun again. Our most intelligent AI of all video games is often unable to see us through glass, so you can be more relaxed. In conclusion, this game has a lot of beautiful things, and it will guarantee you fun, scary, and also frustrating moments. Every time I play Alien Isolation, I get frustrated and annoyed, but I also want to keep trying and experimenting. Of course, I also have a lot of fun in the end, but we must be objective and recognize that the AI of the Alien shines for having a very ingenious programming system, and while of course it is one of the best AIs of this gender, and of course it is intelligent, much of the attraction is more randomness. My favorite games are just like that, games that force you to come back again and again to try different things. The best example of this are the Horde modes, which are without a doubt my favorites. One of the ones I remember most fondly is the Horde mode of Gears of War 3. Each play, regardless of whether you choose the same map and place of your base, was unique, and the AI of the game also learned from how you played, because with each game there were high waves enemies that appeared earlier, and it was becoming more difficult despite having started a new match, but each match was different from the same reason: randomity. I really hope that my point of view has been understood, and that it isn't interpreted as just throwing hate for the sake of it. If you have not played Alien and you have the opportunity, I really recommend it. Don't forget to turn up the volume, use headphones, and manage your resources, but above all, make good decisions. Hope you all are having a great week. This was Kevin, and I'm not telling you goodbye, but until next.